Hi, my name is Geena Haiyupis. I am in the Haiyupis and Chishout territory here in the Alberni Valley. I currently work up at ADSS, also known as Alberni District Secondary School. I am a New Channel education worker at the school, and I'm one of 8. There are 8 in the different schools here. And one of my main jobs that I do is make sure that there's sufficient Indigenous education in the school. What motivates me to do this program is that I would like to give myself more vocabulary and more language around the education system and leadership. And one of the biggest reasons why I do that is because we have 316 Indigenous students in our school that I constantly am imitating a positive role model for. So I kind of lead by example. And I really walked into the school to teach them how to be artistic. As you can see, art is a really big part of who I am. And I do a lot of singing and drumming, so there's a lot of drums in my place all the time. So I've already currently done some murals up at the school, and we started running a drumming circle with our youth, and it's an all-inclusive drumming circle, so it's not closed to anybody else. Like, they don't have to just be Indigenous. So I kind of pride myself in running an all-inclusive program for Indigenous and non-Indigenous students. Some of my goals for the next 2 to 5 years, beyond getting my master's in education and leadership, are to expand my knowledge in Coast Salish art. I have been exploring my roots in my father's side, and my dad is from the Songhees First Nations, and so we've just started exploring his family after a year ago when he had passed away. And I was taken away from my dad and my mom when I went to residential school, and I never went back to my family after that, and kind of bounced around in foster home, where I ended up living in like a really hellacious home where I didn't have a lot of ways to support myself emotionally and spiritually. So that is kind of a big reason why I do my job. Like, I used to be a social worker for about 10 years, and I felt like I was not reaching the people soon enough. I felt like I was not reaching them fast enough to help them heal on their journey and to help them learn different tactics to survive and cope in this world. So I finally realized that getting my own education, after getting my bachelor's, it took me about 10 years to get my bachelor's. I was doing about 2 courses a semester, and so, you know, I was really resilient, and I stuck through it with the kids and the students watching me. And I've been a single mom since my youngest has been alive, and we kind of fled my relationship due to violence. And so I work hard at being a positive role model for my kids, you know, try to leave them away from alcohol and drugs and, you know, sexual abuse and stuff. So, you know, I really lead by example for my children, and I live my life for my children because, you know, I wish that somebody had done that for me. I'm really strong and passionate about my culture. I got to spend a real minute part of my history with my grandfather, who was a really big cultural leader in our society. And so he was like a real strong, healthy man for me to see that, you know, there's really good men out there, and really good men out there to learn and teach children, because he used to talk about your inner child and how you have to heal that inner child. And so he did lots of teachings with me about that as when I turned 16, well, from 5 to 16, after I left residential school and stuff. I've done native art here for about 8 years, and I think I have about 245-ish maybe stencils around my house. Maybe I'll give you a quick tour. So this is one of my main walls. This is kind of my favorite place right here. I do a lot of paintings, like even my table right here has native art on there, and my boys and I worked on this table in the summertime, and we just wanted to do some things during COVID-19 in the quarantine that my kids were kind of losing, their emotions and stuff. So we needed to do some grounding tactics, and so this is my current work in progress, and this is the last one I did. This one I call my quarantine project because it was the very first one, and I have a really great story about that one. If you guys ever have time, I'll get to tell you that story. I have my whole wall of canvases here that I will use, and quickly I'll show you my living room. You can see even my living room has lots of stencils and stuff, and my drums over there on the main wall, and I've just got canvases all over the place. And so I naturally did a lot of art to give out at potlatches and stuff as I started coming back into our cultural circle and stuff, and it was part of learning how to heal myself and find a little bit of silence inside of myself and move away from a lot of the anger and the rage. And I used art as a tool, and singing and drumming as a tool to move away from alcohol and drugs and stuff. So naturally a part of that was to start learning my language, and I've been learning from the Heshkut language program for about 2 years now, and I'm a pretty dedicated learner. I would go, before COVID-19, I would go to probably 3 different evenings of language learning and stuff, and so there's no doubt in my mind that I would not be a dedicated and loyal learner, because once I really put my mind to something, I do anything to strive for it. And my apartment is a big example of that, and I really dedicate my life to my children to make sure that they have a really good, strong role model to learn how to live life by. And I find that this is really important work. So I find that once I can get some language and vocabulary inside of me for what I naturally am doing in my leadership role and culture and traditional healings and stuff, that I'm looking forward to seeing the cohort. I've already watched probably a good number of the videos already, and really excited to start meeting people and talking to people. And so this is something that I'm definitely really excited about. So that's about all you need to know about me for now. Have a good day.